Now we're going to move on to another concept that's very useful when analyzing data in Excel. We're going to be looking at tables, so creating tables and then using it to analyze data a little bit. So I'm over on the sales data worksheet right now. So what I want to do is here we have order date. This looks like it's needs to be formatted actually, right? So if I come back to home, I could format that to be a long date and see what it looks like, or maybe even a short date. Right. So notice that it was a number before. I just formatted it to be a date. Underlying Excel, dates are stored as numbers, right? So that's why I could do that. We have a region, rep, representative, sales rep, item that they sold, the number of units, unit cost, unit price. Right? So one of the things you might want to do at some point is filter the data and look at it. The quick way to get to filter is Control-Shift-L. It puts filters on automatically on the top row. And then you can see here, you can count how many different sales reps we have, how many different items we have. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different items we're selling. Units goes like so. Unit cost, unit price, all that stuff, right? So one of the things that you might want to do, right, overall even, is if we go all the way to the bottom at units, looks like we just have 43 rows of data, so not a huge data set at all. We might want to add up how many total units were sold, or how many over everything, right? 21, 21, right? So you would think then what you could do is filter it by region, or by rep, or by item, right? So let's filter it by, let's just look at pens. Notice what happened. It got rid of my summation down here because it got filtered out. So then you might say, well, why can't I just do something like add them up again, right? So it will try to do a subtotal. Look, it's only going up to that guy, right? So I'm going to do equals sum and select all these guys, right? 1736. Well, that doesn't make sense. Those don't add up to 1736. So what's it doing? Notice what it's doing. It's actually going from E5 to E39. So if I just do a sum on a filtered data set, it doesn't work, right? We have a hint on what we should be doing. When I hit down here, when I hit Alt plus, it tries to do a subtotal. That's not going to do anything because I don't know what's in E45. Actually, I think I do know what's in E45, right? It's that 2121 that we saw before. So that doesn't work either. So let's get rid of the filter. Let's go down to the bottom. Right, now both things are doing the same thing, right? But it's going to E45, so that doesn't really help me. So instead of filtering it this way, there's a better way to actually do this. I'm going to get rid of the filters by hitting Control-Shift-L again. Is creating a table. So to create a table, you can just hit Control-T. And in the Create Table dialog box, it asks you where is your data for your table found, and it's smart enough to know that I want it from A1 through G44. My table does have headers. Right? If it didn't, you could uncheck that. Click OK. And now we've got a nice formatted table with some pretty formatting, and it filters it for me automatically. All right, so now if I come down here, actually on the table tools, it comes up. I'm going to go ahead, I have a header row, banded row, that's fine, whatever. Filter button, yes, I like that. I also want a total row. So down at the bottom, all right, this guy is adding everything up. So we can do, now units, we can do sum, right? That's that 2121 we had before. And now if we filter by what we were doing before, pens, and click OK, right? Now we see that we have 278. That makes more sense. So when it's in a table, it does the subtotal correctly. So it's doing 109, that's the summation, and then units inside square brackets, that's the column that it's subtotaling over. So when I have a table and I filter, I do get the correct answer. Yeah, so that's a much better way of doing it, right? To see the other one, I'm going to hit Control Z a bunch of times and get back out of my table, and I'm going to filter again, and I'm going to filter by let's say unit price is greater than 25. So number filters greater than 25. Click OK. Only 4 items. We can see this down here at the bottom. 4 of 43 records found. So now if I did something like equal count A to count up all of the guys here, right? I should get 4, right? Because there's only 4 rows showed. No, it's doing 22. Again, if you look at it, it doesn't get rid of the stuff in between where the rows are filtered. So that's not good. So then if we go back to get rid of this filter and then get rid of this guy, get rid of the filters by Control-Shift-L, created it as a table again. Okay. Now if we filter number of filters greater than 25, click OK. We again get the 4 of 43 records found down here. But now if we do, if we come back and make sure that we're on the, if I'm on the table tools and I make sure I have a total row, and then under region, if I do count, now there's 4 different rows. Right? That's not counting distinct, remember. That's counting how many non-blank rows there are. Right? So now it's working. Now the count is working. The count A. All right, we'll stop there for now, and we'll do a little bit more with this table in just a few minutes.